The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to the Ring and All Other Sports. My name is Leo Connors and I'm your host. And tonight I got a very special guest making his second appearance on the show, professional wrestler Bugsy Stone. Bugsy, thanks.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good to be here.
Listen, we did a little get to know you when you were on with the Knuckle Busters, but let's do a little one again in case anybody didn't happen to see that episode.
Sure.
Bugsy, where'd you grow up?
I was born in Newburyport, Massachusetts. It's in the Merrimack Valley.
Yep.
March of '81. Probably lived there about 10 years. Moved to Amesbury. Graduated high school there.
Right.
Moved to Salisbury. I will say that the majority of my life has been living in Salisbury. So
Nice.
I consider myself, I say I'm from Amesbury because I went to school there.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was very early on. My biological father and my mother separated really young, and when she remarried, the gentleman she married got me into pro wrestling. So
Nice.
It was very early on, like
Right.
85-ish.
Right.
And I can only remember a few things. One was a match with Hulk Hogan
Yeah.
and Nikolai Volkov, a title match.
Right.
He came out with the flag, white trunks, the American-made shirt,
Nice.
and I think it was like Saturday night main event.
Right.
And the next thing I remember was WrestleMania 3. It was on my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and after that, I mean, I still watch, but like it's fuzzy those years.
Right.
I was young.
Yeah.
But right around WrestleMania 6, that's when I started really remembering and actively getting really into
Right.
it and discovering other promotions on my own.
Right. Now, did you do that through magazines or over the internet?
No,
like
it
YouTube?
wasn't. It wasn't the internet then. It was television.
That's
so
true, too. They did bring
Yep.
a couple of promotions.
And like I said, after WrestleMania 6, I remember that summer, it was on, and then right around Survivor Series of that year, I remember like the WWF had magazines,
Yep.
and I was getting those, and the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and then there was another promotion, and the name escapes me, but it aired on ESPN at 4:30s after school.
I know what it was. Global Wrestling?
Yeah,
Yes.
along the and
Global
the
Wrestling
Patriot
Federation.
The Patriot was on it.
That was good stuff.
Lightning Kid,
Yep.
who became 1-2-3 Kid, X-Pac.
Jerry Lynn.
Yep, Jerry Lynn, and he had some incredible matches
Yeah.
there. And then from there, I discovered a wrestling show on Saturday night at 6:05, WCW.
Yeah.
And
Good stuff.
what I saw was Rick Rude, and I recognized him, so I was like, curious.
Right.
And then it was Sting, and then it was Dr. Death Steve Williams, Terry Bam Bam Gordy,
Good stuff.
the Steiner brothers. I mean, the list is just endless of names. Lex Luger was around at the time, but Jushin Thunder Liger, Brian Pillman.
Four Horsemen. Were they on yet? Or they come after?
They had kind of fizzled out, and
Right.
I think they came back in a few years, like '93 with Roma. But the Dangerous Alliance,
Yep. Oh,
Beautiful
yeah.
Bobby Eaton, Larry Zbyszko, Arn Anderson, Stunning Steve Austin, Ravishing Rick Rude, Ricky Steamboat, Dustin Rhodes, Barry
Yep.
Windham, all those guys. And it was different from WWF.
Yep.
So
A lot
I
different.
really liked it, the balance between
Yeah.
them. And I think after that, WWF, like '93, they had some years there where it was just some stuff I wasn't into. But
The cartoonish era, right?
yeah,
Kinda. Yeah, I
just,
wasn't really into that
I mean,
either.
those guys, I'm sure they were great workers. They were
Right.
just given stuff that was kind of dated,
Right.
not really interesting. Backlund came back, and I really loved that.
Yeah.
With Bret Hart.
Yep.
And they gave him the title, and of course he lost it, I think, within a day.
Yeah, what's it?
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, Diesel.
And
Big
I
Diesel.
I didn't like that at all, because
Yeah.
I love the
Right.
crazy Backlund.
Yeah.
That was really fun with Bret Hart.
Yep.
SummerSlam '91, that was another pay-per-view. I remember we watched WrestleMania 7 at my cousin's house with my Uncle Brian and, Brian Jr. And I love WrestleMania 7 for some reason, and SummerSlam 91, with
Right.
Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart. A lot of great matches on
Yeah.
that one. So for some reason, those things, when I think of what got me into wrestling, watching it,
Yeah.
like those pay-per-views, that era, that
Right.
time, those guys, those workers.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, the Dangerous Alliance is, to me, one of the greatest groups in wrestling
Yeah.
history. Seriously, they were fantastic.
I don't think they get enough credit, though.
No, you're right. They
because
don't.
you
They
think
should.
you think Four Horsemen,
Right.
You think NWO,
Yeah.
that first year NWO,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
You think DX,
Yep.
you know, and there's a couple of versions of DX, you
Yes.
know, the Shawn Michaels, Hunter Hearst Helm, Triple H,
Right.
with Rick Rude in China, and then the one after Shawn Michaels, and
Oh, with
so
the Road
yeah,
Dogg and Billy
yeah,
Gunn and X-Pac.
and that was fun too. But
Yeah, definitely.
no one really says, you know, the Dangerous Alliance, and,
Right.
and those guys were incredible.
Yeah. All of
You
them.
know.
Every single wrestler was
Yeah.
great.
I really liked the Enforcers, Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko.
Yeah,
Those
they were a
guys were
great
great.
tag team.
You know, and I was thinking the other day too. I was like, what if Larry was in the Four Horsemen? Like when they brought it back with Roma. What if it was Flair, Tully, Arn,
Right.
Larry Zbyszko? That would have been cool. But
Probably better than the one with Roma.
Yeah.
Nothing against Paul Roma. You know, he could work. He's
well,
a nice,
it
he's a nice
ended
guy.
It went a different way, but yeah.
Definitely.
So.
Well, were your friends into wrestling? Did you get to watch it with your buddies at school and things like
I
that?
don't remember anybody from when I lived in Newburyport. I attended kindergarten, first grade, I think second grade. I don't remember anybody there liking
Right.
wrestling.
Yep.
Tough town that is. It's
Yeah.
kind of a little, you know.
Yep.
I don't want to say snobby, but when I moved to Amesbury, yeah, there was like a lot of people.
Nice.
So I fit in right away.
Yeah.
It was the weird, you know, the first like project I did when I had third grade. It was this class, Mr. Fury, and it was a bunch of people who like wrestling. I brought my ring with the guys,
Yep.
and you know, I had the LJNs and
That's
the
cool.
Hasbro guys, and yeah, so there was a handful of us that, you know, really loved wrestling, and
Right.
we watched around that time. So
Nice.
you know, it was special.
Now, when did you decide you wanted to be a pro wrestler? Did you figure that out at an early age, or was it when you were teenage years? Or?
To be honest with you, when I was very young, I was very interested in it. I wanted to be, you know, this is like first grade. I wanted
Right.
to be Hulk Hogan
Oh, yeah.
and Axl Rose at the same time, because music's, you know, my other passion
Right.
too. And by the time of like the end of high school, 99, 2000, when I was a senior, I looked into it.
Yeah.
It was Killer Kowalski School, and I saw the price, and I just lost interest.
Right.
And I wish I didn't, because around that time was, you know, guys like Bo Douglas had been around for a few years, so
Right.
he would have been there, and Stiff Mike and Demon Ortiz. I
Yep.
would have came up with that class of
Right.
guys, and I didn't. I ended up, you know, kind of focusing more on music, and a few years after that, things had changed. Like I
Right.
wasn't really into it anymore.
Yep.
WCW was folding or did already, and ECW was gone, and
Right.
it just, I don't know, was kind of not that good, I think.
I hear.
But you know, here I was all those years later. That actually would probably a good lead into how I got into the business. which-
Absolutely. And who trained you? Yeah.
well, so 2011,
Yep.
you know, it was in the middle of the summer, and I ended up, I was working for a friend, and
Yep.
he couldn't have me work for him anymore. So I just took some time off, and I was not doing anything, but I was doing whatever I wanted and
Right.
getting by doing that somehow, which was very strange. I don't know. I just
Right.
always came up with money to do stuff, like traveling. And a friend of mine was moving. I helped him move, and he gave me all his like wrestling DVDs. So it sparked my interest.
Right.
So like for a couple of months, like I'm just like going to the store buying DVDs, like getting really back into it. And he was like, "Listen, there's a local show in Newbury. You got to come.
Right.
They already did a show in October, but they have one in November. We'll go." He's like, "I know the guy that runs it. It's Joe Moakley." And
Oh, wow.
the name was like rang a bell, because Joe was somebody who like knew a lot of people that I knew, you know,
Okay.
growing up, and we're around the same age, same like, you know, time when we graduated.
Right.
And I went, and it was really fun. You can actually see me in the crowd because I sat facing hard cam. You know,
Right.
at the time I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I went up to him after the show, me and my good friend Ian, he introduced me, and I said, listen, Joe, I've been, doing these like gigs. Like I know how to run shows or
Right.
events. So if you need a guy, let me know. I'm not doing anything. I'm not working. And he looked at me and he's like, have you ever thought about training? And I was like, well, yeah, 10 years ago,
Right.
but not now. And he said, well, here's a couple of dates that we're doing some training sessions. Why don't you show up? And if you like it and you can do it, come back the next day.
Right.
So it was a Saturday and Sunday. I went. It was 2 8-hour days.
Yep.
Derek Mitchell was running it, and all the guys that were involved in, at the time, wrestling Star Wars, but it's
Right.
Atlantic Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
Joe Moakley was there, Matt Loudon was there, Big Woody was there, Ed Hunt, but Derek was running the show. There was a few other younger guys there, and we just ran the ropes. We took back bumps. We locked up, chain wrestling, and this went on for like 8 hours a day. And I remember at the end of the day, on Sunday, Big Woody, he goes, come here. I didn't think you were going to last 5 minutes in this ring on Saturday, and here you are, outshining these two younger guys.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I think, and right at the first back bump I took, I was like, I was hooked. I don't know what it is about that, but,
Right.
there's something not right up here that, you throw yourself
Yeah,
involuntary
and you
on the
like that.
ground over and over, and
Yeah.
you like it. So, yeah, you got to have a mind for it because, I've seen a lot of people say, I can do this, and they want to, they have a dream, and I respect that. But
Right.
once they get in the ring, they realize that it's hard,
Very hard.
and you got to be able to take it, and especially the criticism,
Right.
which can, for some people could, they might see that as too harsh, but
Right.
I looked at it as like, everything that they were teaching me was going to advance me to, whenever I got into the ring. So that first year, I did security.
Okay.
Every show that they had, which was, I think, from February to September, was just a guy that had a shirt that said security and a hat. And I did things for him. I ran, messages between Derek at the timekeeper's table to the backstage, or I picked up gear, or, tossed a few guys out of there that needed to be tossed out.
Yeah.
And all that time we were training. They had a little place down the beach, which was a mile down the road from where I live. So we were like 2-3 nights a week, bumping around. Derek was there. And, of course, over time, we brought in guys.
Right.
Demon Ortiz, Stiff Mike, Evan
Like
Six.
his guest trainers.
Yeah, just
Okay,
guys
yep.
that come in and would show us a thing or
Right.
two. But, yeah, it was Derek at first, and then, over time, learned from other people.
Right. Which is a great way to
Yeah.
learn.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. And that continues today.
Right.
I don't get to train as much as I would like to with my schedule.
Right.
And that's an excuse. Like, I want to be able to train
Right.
more. It's just the way it is with everything I have going on. But, yeah, the first couple of years, like, I eventually, the next year, I went to Bo Douglas.
Okay.
And
Down the
down in-
Bell Time Club?
Yep, and this is when he was with Jason Rumble was there.
Right.
Mike McCarthy was in and out. Benny.
Benny Jukes. Yeah.
Yep, Benny was there. So they,
All of them guys are great
yeah,
workers.
and that was right around the time that guys like Tim Lennox and
Right.
Dan Terry were getting it. And I think Vern was there. I'm
Okay.
not sure, but I always associate us guys coming in together. So
Right.
when I think of those times, I think of him being there. So yeah, it was that was a lot of
It's
fun.
a good group of guys, too.
Yeah, and it was a different environment because I was used to like Derek Mitchell and
Right.
and the way they did things,
Yep.
and then you get out of your element and do something else, which is always good.
Yes.
I remember we did a lot with Demon Ortiz because they were booking him, and
Yeah.
they brought in R.J. Brewer, so they had a lot of guys that were
Yeah.
either trained with Walter Killer Kowalski or Knuckles Nelson.
Right.
So
Another great trainer.
yeah, so the lineage was there.
Yep.
And yeah, the knowledge. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about a little bit about your first match?
oh boy, I think it was Thundercat in October of 2013 at the APW Arena in Newbury, and I think it was Alex Creed in a mask or something, and I just killed him. I
Right.
just squashed him,
Yep.
and it was a lot of fun. I think I did something with Todd Sopel before that, like
Yep.
at an outdoor show.
Right.
But my first official introduction at the arena was that, and then shortly after that, we formed the Knucklebusters.
Nice.
So
Excellent. And you guys have all been on.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do a Knucklebusters reunion. Got that tongue tied there.
yeah,
What other companies have you worked for?
Atlantic Pro Wrestling, VCW.
Yeah.
We did a lot for Larry Huntley in Maine.
Yeah.
Some of the names escape me. I'm not quite sure if they're still around.
Well, I've seen you at Pat's show, UFO.
UFO, sorry.
Yep, that's
sorry,
all right.
Pat. I forgot
Yeah,
about
that's
you.
okay.
But yeah, Pat was another one. Another guy I've done a lot of
Right.
stuff with. And thank you, by the way. UFO, let's see. There's a few in Maine that escape. IWE, maybe it was one.
Yeah, that's Sonny's promotion,
Yep.
right? Sonny Roselli?
Yeah,
Yep.
and there was maybe Showcase, I think.
Okay, Showcase
I know
Wrestling.
we-
Yeah, that's in
when-
Mass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Refflers, we worked
Yeah.
them down there.
Okay.
So maybe I think
right.
somewhere down. We did some gigs in Connecticut, so
Nice.
I don't really remember who, but we've been all around New England. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's awesome. This is from me because you've had a couple of great matches with Big Bear Matucci.
Yep.
And have you ever thought about teaming with him on a regular basis? Because I think you guys would be phenomenal. Would be a phenomenal tag team, and I'd love to manage you guys. Guys, that's just a joke. But I mean, if I was ever going to be a manager, I'd love to manage two monsters. That's for sure. But have you ever thought of that, like with? Because I talked to Big Bear about it here.
Yep. Well, what I know is when I came back, because I took some time off in 2017.
Right.
The first show I got back onto was Fenway
Yeah.
in last year, and I took on Big Bear.
Yes,
and
I was
then
there.
We had a few little incidents, throughout UFO bookings,
Right.
and then we had our big head-to-head this year, and a bunch of guys came down, tried to get one over on us, and we kind of came together then. So
Nice.
I think there might be something in the works.
I would love
Can't
to see
confirm
it.
or
Yep.
deny.
I would love to see it because I think you guys would be phenomenal together. I really
Yeah,
do.
and he's another one too that was down at VCW who was
Right.
there and sharing his knowledge too, because he's been around for a
Long
cup
time.
of coffee,
Yeah.
maybe two.
Right?
Yeah.
No, that is awesome. And real quick, I told you off air, but Brian Privatera, friend of the show, wanted me to tell you that he says hi and you're a great man. But we knew that.
Hi, Brian.
Hi,
Thank
Brian.
you.
We're going to get right into the fan questions.
Let's do it.
Sonny Goodspeed wants to know, how long did you train? Which you kind of probably answered that a little bit. And who was it with? It was with Joe and Derek
Sure.
and all them.
Hi, Sonny. Thanks for the question. Yeah, Derek Mitchell. Pretty much for a year straight with
Right.
when they had the down the beach, a couple nights a week, and then VCW did that for a while.
Right.
With Bo Douglas, like I said, Bo Douglas, Jason Rumble,
Yep.
and Mike McCarthy was there. Benny was there. So yeah, but it never really ends.
Right, right.
You're always continuing to, get better.
Yeah, I mean, I said this one of the shows the last couple weeks that, like, sometimes a veteran can learn from a new guy just wrestling
Yeah.
them. I mean, you guys never stop learning stuff.
Right. So,
That's excellent.
Thank
Anthony Mark Balkus, who is a huge APW fan.
hi, Anthony.
He might be the biggest APW fan that I know. He says, what are your top 3 matches you've had in any company?
Oh,
He's got some good questions. He
Yeah.
always does.
thank you for the question, Anthony. There's more than 3.
Okay.
And I'll answer, and I'll do a few accordingly here. When the Knucklebusters faced Demolition, that one will always stick in my mind because that was a huge accomplishment.
Right.
We had been running roughshod all over New England. We had tag titles in APW and VCW,
Yep.
and we showed up, and it was awesome. And I remember Smash saying, "You guys are young, so just take it easy. Don't hit me hard." Of course, we get in there. Him and I lock up, and his first punch, and boom, I'm seeing stars, and I'm like, "Dude, take it easy." You know?
Right.
I didn't say that, but
Yeah.
there was another match I had with the Knucklebusters. It was a dog collar match
Oh, wow.
against Country Fried, Lumberjake, and Larry Huntley.
Right.
And one of the reasons that one's special, it was a dog collar match.
Yep.
We had a great feud. We had been, running with those guys for maybe a year.
Okay.
Big blow off, and right before I went on, my stepfather always went. My sister, she did timekeeping or the ring girl or at the door. And I'm texting him saying I'm about to go on, and he's not responding. And I get out there and I don't see him. And what ended up happening is that his brother texted him and he said, "Listen, Dad's about to pass. Why don't you come on up?" And he was literally right down the street, so he went up and said his goodbye. So that match, when I was stepping into the ring, he was passing on. So I always think of that match in that time,
Right.
So yeah, that one's special.
Right.
That one, and Burley and I, when we broke up, we had a feud for a year.
Right.
And we did a dog collar match, so that one's special. But as far as singles goes, this year's been really good. I got to face Bo Douglas, Johnny Vegas.
Nice.
I won a battle royal in my hometown, which got me into the main event against Matt Loudon, and I defeated him for the Atlantic Pro Wrestling Powwow River Cup. And so that was really special. But I always say this, my favorite match is always the next one, because it's another opportunity for me to get better in the ring and to learn, and just to, like I said, get better and execute the craft, So it's always the next one.
Nice. Anthony also wants to know, are there anyone you have not been in the ring with yet that you want to be in the ring?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's always a handful of guys. Brian Malonis is one of them.
That'd be awesome.
Let's see. Mike McCarthy. Benny's a cool guy. Would love to do something with him.
Right.
Who else is there? I like Derek Simonetti. He's
good.
He's a cool dude, and I really like him.
Yes, he is.
And I'd love to have a little match with him. That would be fun.
Well, he's going to be coming back on here, so I'll make sure I let him know that.
Oh, and
if
Joe
he's not
Moakley.
watching.
Joe Moakley.
Joe Moakley.
Joe Moakley, and I think a singles match with Hunter Ward, and all those guys really, because I came up with them, so it'd be
You
fun.
guys are in a tight locker room, too, from what
Yeah.
I've heard. You guys are all tight with each other.
Love
That's
to get in
awesome.
there singles, too, with Jake Sargent. He's a guy who's new. He's coming up through them, so I don't know if I've ever had a singles match with Stiff Mike, so maybe
that would be good.
That would be a good
Two
one.
Big dudes. Man.
Yeah.
That would be good. I don't know if you know Anthony Miller. They call him Squeaks.
Okay.
But Anthony Miller wants to know, have you ever used that bat in a match?
What's up, Squeaks? Good question. Have I ever used the bat? I don't know. Come to a show and find out.
There you go.
You gotta come to a show.
He goes to a lot of shows,
All
too.
right.
So hear that, Anthony. Let me know if you want to go. I'll go with you. Damon Farah. You know Damon?
Yep. How you doing?
Damon wants to know, any chance of reuniting the Knuckle Busters? Good question, Damon.
Well, in this business, you never say never, and when Bare Knuckle Burley and Big Woody are ready to lace up those boots, I'll be ready. So, yeah, anytime, anywhere, I'll do it.
Nice. Maverick Wild. I have to ask this question, but it's silly.
Go ahead.
But do you comb your beard, or do you lay down and let a landscaper rake it for you?
Another excellent question. Funny, for the last 15 years, not right now, but landscape, lawn maintenance and landscape construction has been my profession of work. So,
nice.
So in the morning, I go outside, lay in the grass. I have these little finger rakes. And I comb it, I shampoo it, I do all the necessities to make. It takes a lot of work in the morning to look this bad. All right.
Nice. This is a first-time question from a good friend of mine, Steve Hamill.
Hi.
And he doesn't watch wrestling all the time. He'll admit that himself. But he says, "Why are you dressed like Negan?"
Oh, good.
And is that your shtick? Do you love Negan?
Funny he asked that, because the picture you posted is from Halloween 2017, and I was dressed like Negan in that picture.
Yep.
So, yeah, I love that show.
Me too.
I love that character.
Yeah.
And
Steve does too.
And when I came back, I was like, listen, I was just so immersed in that right there. I was like, I got to do something. I felt stale.
Nobody else was doing it either.
Yeah,
so
and
it was perfect time to do it.
And I know people do the bat thing, and it was me, and I wanted to do it. So.
And it's different. Believe me, it is. It's different because, like you said, no one's doing Negan.
I just felt like, the road I'd been down, I could relate with the story, his backstory, and if you read the comics, which I do, then you would know. And I just really the story resonated with me, and I just felt like I wanted to portray that. I had to do something new. I wanted to do something totally different.
Yep.
You know, I was doing the same thing for years, so
Nice.
yeah, it was time to change it up. Thanks. Good question, though.
I'm just going to jump over a couple guys' questions just because it leads into this. We'll go back to their question. But my buddy Dan Bolia wants to know, do you think Rick should have killed Negan?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense to.
Right. I think he should have, but he didn't. Whatever. But I do think he should.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If you read the comics, that doesn't happen. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. No, he makes too much. They make too much money off merchandise.
True.
You can't kill
And
him.
he's a great character.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the governor when he was there, too. I mean,
Yeah.
the great bad guy characters.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll come back to Dan's second question after we jump back to Pat Fuller wants to know, hey, what's the name of your bat? And when will you have a rematch with Johnny Vegas? The name of your bat?
All right. Good question, Pat. Thanks for chiming in. I named the bat after my sister Wendy, who passed away in February 2017. And in our house, we called her Little Miss Wendy.
Right.
So we named the bat Little Miss Wendy. You know,
Nice.
My stepfather, and I made that, Scott. So, yeah, I just felt like it was a good tribute. You know,
Yep.
like in
Absolutely.
the show, he names the bat after his wife.
Right.
And he did that because
Lucille, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, he was vulnerable, he was weak, and he couldn't put her down himself,
Right.
and he couldn't bury her. And at that time, that's just kind of how I felt in my life. I just,
Yep.
so yeah, we made it after her, and it's
Nice.
It's a killer.
And second part is, when will you have a rematch
yes.
with Johnny Vegas?
Well, I'm currently in pursuit of that, so we'll have to make sure the head honchos and the front offices at APW hear that message. I want Johnny Vegas.
Nice.
I got cheated out of my number one contendership for the New England title. I'm coming for you, Vegas.
All right. Nathan Fuller, another friend of the show, always asks questions. He says, this is for both of you, which will lead us into the next segment, too. Mm-hmm. What did you think of NXT TakeOver War Games 2?
I thought it was a great pay-per-view.
Yeah, me too.
And I've said this before on here, but NXT is my thing.
Yeah.
I really like it. It's just easier to get invested to. Like, the shows, I think, are an hour.
Yep.
They have a great roster, but you don't always see everybody. It's not like everybody's crammed on there.
Right.
It's not a comedy fest, which is fine.
Right.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
That's, you got your big guys, you got your little guys, you got your,
Right.
You got your kung fu martial artists doing cartwheels off the top rope. That's cool. Then you got your big guy like Lars Sullivan. I really like him for some reason. He's just really.
He might be making his debut this
They
week, right?
were teasing that. They showed a little thing of him. So congratulations to him.
Yeah,
all the best. Yeah.
I'm definitely a fan of Lars Sullivan. I really am.
It was a great pay-per-view, and I thought every match really it held my attention. So
Right. Well, I'm going to ask Dan's last question, then we'll talk about that. We'll go through the matches.
Yep.
All right. Dan wants to know, who are your favorite opponents?
Oh, opponents. Tag team wise, we got along good with Country Fried, Lumberjake and Larry Huntley. Of course, anytime you're in the ring with Larry, it's an education.
Yep.
Great guy. Both those guys are great. Joe Monkley's Goon Squad there, when the Pinkies Up dudes, you know, Buddy Romano. Always loved mixing it up with him.
Another good talent.
Yep. Who else was it? Dan Terry.
Yeah.
When he was running with Michel Moulet, was that what it was? That was fun. Tim Lennox. Those guys that I like,
Right.
cut our teeth or cut my teeth with, so.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't. There's probably a few other names I can't. Bo Douglas and Jason Rumble. We did a thing with them, so.
Great guys.
Yeah.
Great tag team.
Yep. And of course, Bear. I always like tumbling around in there with
Right.
him, so that's fun.
Yep.
But yeah, this year has been more of like I'm trying to do the singles thing.
Yeah.
Trying to get in there with anybody and everybody. So Bo and I had a slugfest in July. We really.
Was that at Fenway?
No, that was at an APW event at Yankee Homecoming.
Oh, okay.
I was seeing stars for a week.
Yeah.
And he said the same thing. He's like, bro, you tuned me up. I'm like, no, you tuned me up.
Right. That's awesome.
yeah.
Now, when we go through the War Games 2 TakeOver, It was a surprise match at the beginning
Yeah.
when Matt Riddle came out after, I guess, on the pre-show. He was talking to Cassius Soto, came out,
Yeah.
interrupted them. They had a few words with each other. So Matt Riddle came down and he challenged Cassius Soto. And 4 seconds later, it was all over.
Yeah.
And Matt Riddle defeated Cassius Soto.
Yeah.
What'd you think about that?
I think sometimes I don't agree with those things, but it will probably make sense down the road.
Right.
I really want the best for that guy, Cassius Ohno.
Me too.
You know, and a lot of emphasis is put on like body image and stuff, and he's a bigger guy.
Right.
And I can relate to that.
Yeah.
But I think he reminds me of like Barry Windham a little bit.
Oh, he can work.
Yeah.
Man.
So I like the guy. I hope
Right.
he's kind of got like the basketball thing
Yeah.
going on. Maybe he kind of ditches that. I don't
Right.
know. He's kind of been teasing this like, bad boy heel thing.
Right.
So let's see where that goes. But that other guy, I was laughing at him. He was doing the bro thing. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. That's his
I
stick
don't
right
really
there.
know him that well.
Yeah.
I've heard about him, but
Right.
I was laughing a little bit. I'm not into the no wrestling boots gimmick.
Right.
I think that's kind of
Yeah. Well, he used to wrestle. He used to work for the UFC.
Yeah.
So he's a mixed martial artist, and I knew they were going to kind of push him. Not that I know anything backstage, but you could kind of see.
Yeah,
How what they were leading to.
They
But like
did
you
that
said,
with Ricochet. When they brought him
Yes.
in, he just kind of was right on the show right
Right.
away. Where some other guys, they take their time.
Yeah.
They cultivate the craft.
It took a long time for Biff to get on TV at the beginning, it seemed.
Yeah.
And
And now look
Dijak's
at him.
been there a while too.
Yep.
So like you said, some guys just get pushed immediately.
Yeah. Well, it all probably depends too on what they're seeing
Right.
on the live shows that we
Right.
don't see, because I'm sure they travel a lot.
Yep.
So they're probably seeing something different, like
Right.
crowd reaction or how's this getting over.
Yep.
So there's a lot to there's, like I said, there's always more to be revealed. There's
Oh,
always
yeah.
something else to learn, and those guys are down there and
Yeah.
doing their best.
I expect big things from him.
I really like Biff. And what's
Yeah.
he go by right now?
Oni Lorcan.
Yeah,
And he's
so-
teaming up with Danny Birch from
Yeah, that's cool.
overseas. And I'll tell you, that's
Those
a hell of
guys
a
are
tag team.
hard hitting.
Wicked hot hit.
I saw an NXT event in Lowell, and he took on Tommaso Ciampa.
I was there that night. That was the night Samoa Joe won the
Man,
title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great. The place was shaking. It was.
It was
rocking.
unreal. I thought the roof was going to come.
Yeah.
I thought the pop that they got at the beginning there was
Mm-hmm.
even or just as big as the pop Joe got when he won the title.
Yeah.
He
He came over to an APW event one night and introduced himself to everybody, and I think just by circumstances I couldn't book him, but
Right.
I always liked him. I always thought he was a cool dude. I think I met him maybe once or twice in passing. So, when he's on TV, it's always like, yeah, that's cool, man.
He's definitely,
And
and you're right, he is a nice guy.
Tag team wrestling's my thing. So
Right, me too.
Yep.
Me and my old partner Derek,
Yep.
we used to talk about it all the time. We're both tag team guys. Next up, they had the NXT Women's Championship. In a
Yep.
2 out of 3 fall matches, the champion, Shayna Baszler, ended up defeating Kairi Sane 2 out of 3. But the other 4 horsemen women got involved, and that's Jessamine Dukes and Marina Shafir.
Yep.
Shafir interfered, and that's how
Yeah.
Shayna won the first fall.
Yeah.
What did you think about the match, though?
I liked it. I liked
too.
both. To be honest with you, I didn't care for Shayna when I first saw her.
Right.
Because I'm not really an MMA guy.
Yep.
And it's whatever for
Right,
me.
right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But over time, when she won the belt, I
Right.
thought, oh, what a great heel she is.
Yeah.
And I think the interference with the other 2 women, the 4 horsewomen
Yep.
there, that made it really kind of. She's really the fans are really starting to
Oh, yeah.
you could hear it.
Yes.
And that Kairi Sane, that elbow drop is just
Unreal.
Yeah.
My girl's not a huge wrestling fan, but she's watched enough of it over the years.
Yep.
And she literally saw her do that flying elbow off the top rope.
Yeah.
And she said, she's seen a bunch of people do it, but she thinks she's the best at it. And
Yeah.
she could be right. I mean, the way she can jump and turn her body at the same time, too, it's amazing.
It was a great match. I really liked it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm really invested in women's wrestling right now. Anyway,
Right, me
so,
too.
Yeah.
On the second fall, there was a bunch of high spots like crazy. I love that counter spike DDT on the outside.
Yeah.
On the edge of the ring, and then the elbow in the ring to pin
Yep.
Shayna.
She got over her gimmick.
Yes.
They're doing a lot of like those, I call them dangerous spots. The
Right.
suplexes over onto the outside
Yeah.
or the DDTs.
Yep.
So
crazy.
it's dangerous. So,
Right.
and I tip my hat to them, but I just hope people coming up now don't,
Right.
because we're in that era where people are doing like
Crazy stuff. Yeah, definitely.
stuff like even now, like watch a match in the first 2 minutes, someone's a DDT and they're kicking out, and I'm like, bro, you just got your head smashed. Like,
Yeah,
what are you
you're
doing?
not supposed to kick out that quick.
know.
Exact. The third fall was really good too.
Yeah.
Because the horsewomen got involved again, and it was nice to see her get some help
Yep.
with Dakota Kai and Lo Shiraya.
Yep.
I butcher names left and right on here, so.
Don't worry about it.
But then when she nailed it with the top rope elbow, and Shayna just rolled her up.
Yep.
Never saw that coming. Seriously, that was a nice finish
Yeah, a
because
little-
you didn't see it.
It was a little
coming.
bang bang play there at the end.
Yes.
Probably setting up a 3-on-3 down the road
Oh, yeah.
somewhere. Get those other two women involved, and of course the good guys involved.
Right.
I butcher names too. Sorry. But yeah, it just solidifies her as a heel. Like
Yes.
she's a cheat to win. So
Right. Yeah, Shayna's definitely, like you said, doing a great job. When she first came up to, I felt the same way. Like,
Yeah.
why is she on TV so quick when other guys that we know from around
Yeah.
here haven't been on TV? But she's proven herself. There's no doubt she's proven herself. Next up was former NXT champ Aleister Black defeating Johnny Gargano.
Oh, that was good.
That match was awesome.
That was
really
good.
was.
And I say this, I'm not martial arts,
Yep.
karate,
Right.
kung fu off the top rope, flips and dives, but NXT has a lot of, no, I wouldn't say a lot of that. I'm more of a different kind of guy, but
Right.
this was just like get your head kicked in fast.
Yeah.
So it was fun to watch, and
I like it. When
I like him a lot, Aleister Black. So
I like
both
it when he
guys
sat
do.
there and he said, "Come on, give me your
Yeah,
best shot." I
yeah.
mean, and Johnny Gargano's a hell of a worker.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
and
guess,
the stuff he did with Tommaso was incredible.
That was good, and I guess he's got maybe a little dark side in him now too. So
But it seems, yeah, because
Yeah.
he ended up being the guy
Yeah.
that jumped him. Yeah, that's very true. Glad you brought that up.
Interesting, yeah.
And then next up, we had Tommaso Ciampa defending the title in what could have been the match of the night
yeah,
against Velveteen Dream, who's really impressed a lot of people
Yeah.
over the last few months.
that one was excellent, and he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
he's,
Oh,
he's,
Tommaso?
he's both of them.
Both of 'em, yeah.
Both are fun to watch.
Yep.
I personally loved it when Tommaso would come out without the music, and
Yeah.
they would just rain of just booze and the ooze
A
and
lot
the
of people are
ahs.
saying he's the best heel in wrestling
Yeah,
right now.
Well,
I kind of agree.
when you can get the crowd to, and I would say they probably love watching them, but
Oh, yeah.
but they're just they're
Right.
not having it, and yeah, good for him, good stuff. He's another guy
Yes.
that was in an APW locker room.
Yeah, great guy. But I think the match tonight, even though, like I said, I mean, a lot of people do think that Tommaso and Velveteen might have been the match tonight.
Yep.
But in my eyes, the match of the night was the War Games match. As Pete Dunne, Ricochet, and the War Raiders,
Yep.
Raymond Rowe, Warbeard Hanson, defeated the Undisputed Era,
Mm-hmm.
Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly in what was an unbelievable match.
Yeah, slugfest, wasn't
Oh,
it? And then at the end, they get all the gimmicks out in the
Yeah.
ring, and
that frog splash that Todd did from
oh yeah,
these ropes, because there was two rings. If you guys
Yep.
didn't see it, there was two rings.
Yep.
And he was on this side where the other ring was, and he went from that top rope with a frog splash. If you guys got Facebook, look up Todd Smith. It's got a beautiful picture of him coming across.
Yeah.
With Ricochet holding Kyle O'Reilly down.
was that when they went through the table?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a
Ouch.
great match. And like
Yeah.
you said, a lot of gimmicks at the end.
Yep.
The Undisputed Era has been booked to just run over everybody.
Yeah.
So it really was nice to see that they looked vulnerable. They can lose.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
the good guys win. Everybody goes home happy. So
Exactly. And,
And I love the fact they bring back some of these old, WCW gimmick, the War Games,
yes.
Starcade.
Yeah. And it's good that they don't always do it just in the WWE. It's nice to see that they're doing it in NXT.
I would rather have, if they're going to bring back those things
Yeah.
from the past, give it to NXT.
Right.
Let them run with Starcade.
Yeah.
Let them do a beach blast or
Right.
a Halloween, whatever that Halloween one
Right.
there, the gimmick they were doing Halloween. I forget, but yeah, it's just I don't know that's so brutal. 2 rings, steel
Yeah.
cage. I mean, my favorite match was the War Games '92 with the Dangerous Alliance.
Yes.
We were talking about them earlier, and Stinger's Squadron.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Yeah, there was a lot of blood in that ring that night.
Sure was. and you know, it's funny how you brought up Larry Zbyszko earlier.
No.
Yesterday, he was at Sports World.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and I really wish I could have went, but I had a bunch of other things we were
Yeah.
doing. But I wasn't able to make it, but that would have been cool to meet Larry Zbyszko.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he was just in
Hey,
town.
Larry, if you're watching, how you doing?
Yeah, I hope you're watching, Larry. Why don't we jump into the name game?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. So, Demon Ortiz.
Oh, awesome. Great guy.
Yeah.
In the ring, outside the ring. Always somebody I'd be like, listen, can you watch my match?
Yeah.
And if I don't ask him, he'll have pointers.
Right.
And I told him, like, the last time he gave me criticism, I'm like, listen, I'm the type of guy that I'll right now where I'm in my life, I'm in a little funk, you know.
Yeah.
I said, I'll take this and I'll just run with it for a week and, be angry. And he's like, well, don't, it's for you to get better. And that's what I'm saying about like criticism for like you guys who are young getting in the business, like take the criticism and run with it. It's just so you can get better.
Yep.
Always ask the veterans, watch my match, or how did I do? Is there any areas I can improve in? That's the most important thing. You're going to learn that way.
Yep.
And you're going to learn by getting in the ring with those guys too.
Yes.
Larry Huntley was like that. Every time we got into the ring, same way.
Yep.
So, yeah, Demon Ortiz, good
Nice.
guy.
I got to ask you, every time that I have a guest on the show, he always hits me up and wants me to ask what they think of him. My old co-host, Derek Dukes.
Never heard of the guy.
Never heard of the guy.
Don't know him.
See that, Derek? He don't know you.
Sorry. No, he managed us once in VCW. He was really nice.
Thought we were both going to blow him off.
Yes. Maybe I should have. Let's edit this part out. No, he was really nice to my sister, so I respect that.
He is a nice guy.
Yeah. Hi, Derek. Thanks for always playing the name game.
We should have just
I knew it was
going to
be in
love
there,
you,
man.
Derek, but we had to. Oh, my God. All right. Big Woody. Big Woody and Burley, your old knucklebuster
Yep,
partners.
the brothers in arms.
Nice.
Went through a lot of wars with those guys. Put a lot of miles on the road with them. Here and there.
Right. Woody must have helped you out immensely.
Oh,
I mean, being
yeah,
in the
both
business
of
for
them.
that long.
And that was
Burley, too.
probably that was the reason we did the Knuckle Busters was to get me, a little bit, further along in, character development and in-ring, movement there. So nothing but love for those guys.
Nice. I have to ask this question because you said you wrestled Burley. He was, one of your favorite matches.
Yep.
Did he ever hit you with his go-to move, the kick in the nuts?
Oh, I think there was a couple of times leading up to our big match that we had that I probably took one or two of those, but
I love that line when he told us, that's my go-to move. Uncle Eddie, Ed Hunt.
Another guy that I really like. He lived right
Knowledge.
2 minutes down the road for me, so and funny.
Yeah.
I always like being around him. So
Nice.
and I love what he's doing right now with Mistress Belmont doing the Widow Belmont, and he's doing the
She's incredible.
Father Eddie or whatever he's
Right.
doing. I love it. So
Nice. Joe Moakley.
A+. I like him. We have a lot of fun at
Yeah.
APW, like after breaking down shows and stuff. And
Right.
Share a lot of laughs. So.
How about his?
Hi, Joe. Thanks.
How about his partner in ownership of APW, Michael Morse?
Mike's a new guy. He's
Yep.
come along, and I got nothing but respect for him because this can be a hard business.
Yeah.
And if anything I could say to you, Mike, is hang in there because we need you. Especially there. He's brought there's new life in APW. It was
Nice.
a little bit of a what are we doing after we lost the hall, and then we had the Boys and Girls Club, and that kind of fell
And
through.
Woody
so-
had stopped.
Yeah, Woody was gone, and I think Ed was gone too, and
Right.
Derek, and so, yeah, Mike, great guy. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it, And
Nice.
yeah, we share a lot of laughs too. So.
How about Hunter Ward?
No. I love Hunter Ward, man. I love mixing it up with him.
Right.
I love busting chops with him.
Nice guy.
But he's done a lot for me, you know, rides here and there or training, letting me, you know, beat him up here and there.
Right.
So, yeah, he's a great guy.
Well, might as well bring up his American-made partners, Jake
Yep.
Sargent and Big Guns Jim Sargent.
Yep, Big Gun's another guy that a lot of respect for.
Yeah.
You know.
They'll be coming on together, all
Yeah.
three of them soon. Yep.
Yep, and he came through. You know, a lot of times he comes through the neighborhood and you
Right.
say hi to him a lot. And Jake's new.
Yep.
Wish nothing but the best for him. You know,
Nice.
and again, another guy I love sharing a laugh with.
Yeah.
So I don't get to see those guys enough either.
Well,
so.
you know, that would be, nothing for nothing, but a Knuckle Buster reunion would be pretty cool to take on American Made.
Oh,
That's just in my opinion.
Well, we'd run over you guys. Let's calm down, all right? Calm down on that one, guys.
All right. How about one of your old tag team partners, besides the Knuckle Busters, Ike?
Ooh,
I love the big little. That's
Yeah.
just awesome.
that was a little short, little.
I like
little,
him a
little,
lot, too.
That was like Paul Simon and Chevy Chase in that video that
Yep.
they did. Yeah, Ike. He's a quiet man.
Yeah.
And
he
but I
entertains me very much.
you know,
man,
when he
he's
gets
out
in
there.
the ring, I love that.
Me
You know,
too.
and he uses what he has to his
Yep.
advantage, and it worked for us. I loved it.
I got to get him on this show.
That
too.
was I was transitioning too right at that time. I was trying
Right.
to get into doing this gimmick, but I was unsure, so it kind of helped me with that. So
right. That's awesome. Let's see. Buddy Romano.
Oh, another guy I love getting in the ring with. Yeah, for some reason he just reminds me of like guys that we talked about, like
Right.
Beautiful Bobby, Arn Anderson, Larry Smith, those type of workers, you know.
Right.
So yeah, love getting in the ring with you, man.
How about now you said you had a match with him before. And have you ever wrestled for Liberty States?
I don't think I have.
Todd Sopel, book him. How about Todd Sopel?
Yeah, he's a controversial guy, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he is. Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
doubt. But he's a talented guy too.
Yeah.
You know he is, and he
Oh,
runs
yeah.
a good company with a lot of big fan
Yeah,
bases.
he's done a lot. I've been to a handful of shows there in
Yeah.
attendance, and I got to say, he runs a cool show.
Yep,
so,
that's what I've heard too. And you're right, he is very
yeah.
controversial.
And you know what? I'm one of those guys. I got to stay out of that.
Right.
You know,
No, I
like,
hear you.
I wouldn't go public and be like, oh,
Right.
this guy, and tear him apart on social media.
Right.
That's not me. That's not who I am.
Yep.
That's not my character. So,
Right.
yeah, you know, he's another guy that if you're around and he gives you some, you know, a little bit of advice, you know,
Right.
maybe listen to it because he's been around the block or two.
He's
so,
been around for a while.
You know, and he's running his own company and people go
Right,
and he's
right.
still doing it. So he must be doing something
He
right.
definitely has. I know a few of my friends go to his shows all the time, and they say that the crowd is hot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people there,
Yep.
and the shows are awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So good for you, Todd. Evan Six.
Ooh, what a monster.
He used to scare the crap out of me.
Vicious,
man.
too.
And I was
Vicious
an adult.
guy, yeah.
I was an adult, and he scared me.
I remember I had a match, and I wasn't in the right state of mind. I
Right.
shouldn't have been wrestling at the time, but I mean, we were in there like 2 minutes, and I remember he's like, "Just breathe, dude." And I'm
Right.
like, "Dude, you destroyed me. I'm like done. Just
Right.
pin me, bro." No, but he was a vicious monster.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Well, his tag team with Apocalypse when they were at the
yeah.
end.
cool.
Very cool. That I
And
kind
then
of see
they-
like you and
Yeah,
Big Bill like
it
that.
makes sense when you look at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They were a really good tag team. How about a guy I know? I watched the match of you and him, Brandon Webb. I think you only wrestled him once.
is Brandon Webb the
Devil's Reach.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like Brandon
Yeah.
Webb. All right.
That was a good match. I
You
watched.
know, I haven't seen him in a little bit, so
Yeah.
I hope he's doing well. I know he had a little accident, so
Well, I know he's wrestling at top rope for sure.
Yeah,
Because he was
so
just
he's-
on there
he's
last
back,
year, so
yeah,
he's
all
back.
right.
Yeah. Hell of
Yeah,
a talent.
yeah,
He really
man.
is, and that gimmick is awesome.
I feel like he's gotten better with it now. Like
Oh, I'm
his
sure.
looks a little filled out
Right.
a little, like the beard and
Yeah.
everything. So I can remember just having him at the shows and
Right.
you know doing the paint thing and
Talented
Yeah.
guy, man.
yeah, he always. We'd have him for a little bit, and he'd go away, and he'd come back,
Right.
and each time it just felt like he could still captivate the audience because gimmicks after a while people are like, "What? I'm all set with this."
Right. If I'm not mistaken, you wrestled this guy in a tag team match too, and he's probably only been mentioned on the show once or twice. Bugsy, Calvin Campbell.
Ooh, I'm trying to. Murder Lodge guy?
No, he was with. Oh man, I'm trying to remember exactly who he was with.
And I apologize if I'm not.
Sorry,
if I saw his face,
Thinning
I would
guy.
know
I mean,
him.
I could have. I think he was with Uncle Ed, Eddie Hunt, one time in a tag team match. But
Where'd you see it? APW?
yeah, I saw a video of it at
All
APW,
right.
and I can't remember now like who else. But I know you wrestled him. That's why I wrote it down. But he's a very talented kid.
Yeah.
So on the smaller side, like
The name-
thinner like Ike, but
Okay.
a little taller.
The
Very
name,
talented.
the name escapes me.
Yeah,
If I saw your face, I would remember it, and I apologize.
but believe
Yeah.
me, very talented.
All right.
How about the Maine State Posse? These guys have been killing it everywhere
Yeah.
they go right now.
I've had a couple of conversations with them.
Yeah.
You know, I said to them, I was like, I wish the Knuckle Busters were around so we could,
Oh yeah.
beat you guys up. I love that they're from Maine.
Yep.
And I remember being at a few Maine shows where they were getting in the ring and just learning how to do stuff.
Right.
So they've come a long way.
Yeah.
People like them. Best wishes to you. And I always say to these guys, listen, just slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
I know you love doing this stuff, but like
Right.
you're gonna either get hurt or it's just not gonna go over. And they have potential to do something really,
Right.
really big.
I just saw them Friday night at Chaotic, and I think they probably did take some of that advice because
Yeah.
they have slowed down a little.
Yeah,
It's
and
not 100 miles an hour
Yeah.
like when I first saw them.
Nothing wrong with
Great,
that.
exactly.
Nothing
Great
wrong
team.
with that. But I think you're new.
Right.
Slow down a little bit. Listen to the guys that come before you.
Yep.
And that's probably when you saw them now, that's probably what happened is
Right.
they've been around the block a little bit, so they've
Nice.
been listening to the guys in the back.
How about Setherin?
He's a guy that's on my list. I forgot to mention him.
Okay.
Setherin and then Nightbreed.
See you next week.
Cool. I like him a lot.
Right.
Another guy in the back that I asked for advice or
Yep.
talked to, so love that gimmick.
And his valet, Vanity Vixen.
Sweetheart.
Yes.
Yes. She's been coming around APW for a little bit now,
Yeah.
so always a pleasure having them.
And they both work for Todd's at Liberty
Yep.
States. I think that's where they came back together with Nightbreed.
Right.
Which I was very happy to see
Yeah.
that they're back together. I'm looking forward to seeing them in action again. Sonny Goodspeed.
Yeah, cool
Yeah.
guy. He came to the ring. He used to dance a lot.
Yeah, oh
Really
yeah,
took
Chunky
the-
but
all
Funky.
right,
Yeah. Did you guys ever wrestle them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't.
Sonny's a good guy.
I'm more of a face guy, and I
Yeah.
know who he is.
Right,
but like
right.
I would remember more seeing the face in the ring. So
Right.
I'm not remembering seeing him in the ring with us. So
Okay. Stiff Mike.
oh, what a jerk, man. He's done another guy. Like knows my family.
Right.
Knows was nice to my sister, nice to my parents.
Right.
Has showed me a lot in the ring, outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Always willing to bend over backwards for you. So, yeah, I love you, Stiff Mike. Cool. Thank you.
Nice.
Appreciate you.
How about our guy that's really tearing it up right now? Big Bacon, Brad Hollister.
I had a match against him years ago,
Yeah.
a singles match in Maine, and it's an honorable mention, but
Okay.
it was a fun little match. I just did this like little spot with him where I threw him into the buckle.
Okay.
But he went into the second buckle and did this bump, and
Yeah.
it was just when we're talking about it, I was like, it doesn't really sound that cool. He's like, trust me, and he did it, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow. At the time, he was a little smaller,
Right.
doing more of a Kurt Angle thing, like
Okay.
that, like Olympic wrestling.
Right.
And now the guy is just,
Yeah. No, he's really great.
Yeah.
His tag team with him and Tunis as the
Yeah.
closers, easily one of the top tag teams. There's a lot of great tag teams, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But they're easily near the top for sure.
yeah.
How about Mark Sherman? You know Mark?
I haven't heard from him in a minute.
Okay.
He's still doing it, right?
Actually, he hasn't come back in a while. So he just got married, though. Congratulations, Mark Sherman.
Congratulations. He was
but-
always a nice guy when we've
Yeah.
been around him, and a pleasure. I don't think I've ever bumped around with him.
Right.
So.
I love his personality part, the goofiness, like that.
Yeah.
I think that's why, like when he was in Chaotic, he really did, like, he was so over with the crowd, and I really do believe it was because of the goofiness of him.
Yeah,
People relate
it's,
to that.
It's a little bit of him in the ring and outside. So
Right.
yeah.
John Walters or R.J. Brewer, whatever you want to call him.
Oh yeah.
Now, he just came back around here.
Wealth of knowledge. Encyclopedia. I remember there was a APW did a training session,
Yep.
and it was with Demon Ortiz and R.J. Brewer.
Right.
And those two guys just did something it was like a 10-minute little match. We were just watching.
Right.
It was like a clinic. It was probably the best thing
Nice.
It was like having a little just event for us, It was great. So, yeah.
Nice. How about Mike Pava?
Oh, yeah.
Not a good worker.
I've had some.
On the smaller side, but good worker.
Yeah.
Really good.
Mike actually, I forget what he did. Something he gave me. It was either he ended up whipping me over and getting me off of my feet. And
Right.
at the time, I just went with it,
Yeah.
not thinking. But after the show, my stepfather was like, "Why'd you let that little twerp?" I asked him, like, "What'd you think of the match?" He goes, "It was cool, but you let that little twerp throw you around. What's your problem?" So I laugh. I always think of him when I see that, but when I see him, I think of that. But yeah, he's fun. He was a part of Moakley's goons that were
Right.
like beating up. So
Nice.
one memory I have really quickly is Knucklebusters came down to the ring and we beat up those guys, and I gave a double clothesline to Mike Pava and Buddy Romano, and they were wearing their fur coats, and
Yep.
they went over the top rope, and I was laughing seeing them go over with all their
Right.
gimmicks on. It was funny. So
Last name, one of the announcers at APW, Jason Stewart or Big Mark Green.
yeah, another guy
Wealth of
Really-
knowledge.
yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Wealth of knowledge.
yeah, he's another guy down at VCW
Yeah.
you look to that during that time. So, and I'm glad we've had him on board. But another
Right.
guy who's always there with a handshake and a smile. So, thanks, Mark. Appreciate you.
Well, we didn't get to talk about Survivor Series, but we're out of time. But we can get you back in here again. But real
Yeah.
quick, that was a great pay-per-view last night.
Yeah, a couple of matches on the main show I really liked, but
Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey.
oh my goodness, yeah.
Wow. Seriously.
We'll have to save it for another time, but that was
Yeah.
a great match.
I mean, it's amazing to see that, the beating Ronda took from Charlotte last night with that kendo stick.
Oh, man,
I mean, she
brutal.
was getting hit in the ear.
Yeah,
You can't fake that stuff.
She had some welts, and you can't fake that.
But I'm very impressed with that match.
she
Very
took a
impressed
beating.
with Brock, too,
Yep.
beating Daniel Bryan. But we didn't get to talk about that either. But, Bugsy, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
show,
you.
and I'll send you some more dates.
Cool.
We're out, guys. Peace.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.